Blacktop stretched, endless, under a moon like curdled milk. Jake fought sleep. Eyes gritty, burning, another mile, another hour, closer to home. Radio static, just the hum of tyres, a lullaby for the damned. He hadn't wanted this drive, not so late. But his daughter, Lily, sick, wife frantic, needed medicine now. Rural pharmacies closed after midnight, Jake the only option. Wind picked up. A low moan through the car's frame, like a beast circling. He gripped the steering wheel tighter, knuckles bone white. Just the wind, he told himself, just the wind. Headlights flickered. Briefly the world plunged into darkness. Jake cursed, thumping the dashboard. Light returned, and with it, something else. A figure, standing by the roadside, a woman dressed in black, impossible to miss even in this desolate landscape. He slowed, caution, a sliver of fear. Out here, this late, anything could be trouble. Maybe car trouble? He should help, he knew, but something felt wrong, deeply wrong. The woman turned, her face pale as moonlight, and her eyes glowing a malevolent red like hot coals burning in the night. Jake's foot hovered over the brake pedal. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through his exhaustion. Those eyes. He knew with a primal certainty that those eyes meant harm. "Help you?" he called out, his voice a hoarse whisper. The woman smiled, a slow, predatory stretching of lips. It wasn't a friendly smile, it was the smile of a predator, scenting prey. "Lost," she said, voice like wind chimes, filled with a cold, hollow echo. He wanted to drive, floor the gas pedal, leave her behind, but something held him. Those eyes, they seemed to hold him captive. "Where to?" he managed, his voice barely audible. "Anywhere," she breathed, taking a step closer. "As long as it's with you." The woman moved with unnatural speed, her figure a blur against the darkened roadside. It was as if the shadows themselves propelled her forward, an eerie spectre in the night. One moment she was by the roadside, the next she was at the driver's side window, face inches from his, her breath fogging up the glass. Her eyes bore into his, filled with a malevolent intensity that sent shivers down his spine. He saw the hunger in her eyes, the raw primal need. Terror flooded him, paralyzing his thoughts. He could feel his heart racing, each beat a desperate plea for escape. He slammed the car into reverse, tires screaming as he lurched back. The car fishtailed wildly, but he didn't care. He had to put distance between them, had to break free from her grasp. He threw the car into drive, engine roaring, and sped off. The night swallowed him, but he could still feel her presence, a dark cloud looming over his escape. Her laughter, a chilling melody, followed him. It was a sound that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, echoing in the recesses of his mind. He risked a look in the rearview mirror, his hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles turned white. She was standing in the middle of the road, watching him. Her silhouette was stark against the dim glow of his taillights, an unyielding figure in the night. But it was her eyes that chilled him to the bone. They glowed with an unnatural light, piercing through the darkness like twin beacons of dread. They were following him, burning with an unholy light. It was as if they could see into his very soul, exposing his deepest fears. The road stretched ahead, seemingly endless. Each mile felt like an eternity, the darkness pressing in from all sides. His heart pounded, each beat a drum of fear echoing in his ears. He could feel the sweat trickling down his temples, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He had to get away. The thought consumed him, driving him to push the car faster, to flee from the terror that pursued him. He had to get to Lily. She was his only hope, the one person who might understand, who might help him escape this nightmare. But he knew with a sinking feeling in his gut that he couldn't outrun what was hunting him. The fear gnawed at him, a relentless reminder that some horrors cannot be escaped. The radio, silent until now, crackled to life, breaking the stillness of the night. The sudden noise was jarring, a stark contrast to the quiet that had enveloped him moments before. Static filled the car, a harsh, grating sound that set his teeth on edge. Then, through the static, a voice emerged, cold and sharp, whispering directly into his ear as if the speaker were right beside him. "You can't escape!" it hissed, the words dripping with malice. "You're mine now!" The voice was both familiar and foreign, sending chills down his spine. He screamed, a primal sound of fear and frustration, and swerved the car violently. His heart pounded in his chest, each beat echoing the terror that gripped him. Tires lost their grip on the asphalt, screeching as they skidded. The world outside the car became a blur, spinning wildly as he fought to regain control. Metal shrieked against metal as the car tumbled end over end into the darkness beyond the road. The impact was brutal, each collision jarring his body. He lay there, dazed, pain lancing through his body. Every breath was a struggle, each movement sending waves of agony through him. The world spun, a kaleidoscope of broken glass and twisted metal. The remnants of the car lay scattered around him, a testament to the violence of the crash. He saw her then, silhouetted against the moonlit sky. Her presence was both ethereal and menacing, a dark figure against the pale light of the moon. She was walking towards him, her eyes blazing like twin infernos. Each step she took seemed to resonate with an unspoken power, drawing her closer to him. She reached him, her touch cold as ice against his burning skin. The contrast was startling, her icy fingers sending shivers through his fevered body. He looked into her eyes, saw the hunger, the triumph, the ancient evil that dwelled within. Her gaze was unrelenting, piercing through him with a malevolent intensity. Then darkness swallowed him whole. The world faded away, leaving him in an abyss of nothingness, where time and space ceased to exist. First light, pale and cold, it painted the scene in shades of grey. A twisted hunk of metal lay by the roadside, a testament to the night's horrors. The driver's side door hung open, a silent invitation to a scene of carnage. Inside, the air hung heavy, thick with the metallic scent of blood. The driver's seat was empty but for a scattering of broken glass and a smear of crimson on the leather. A single crimson footprint, small and delicate, marked the asphalt outside the car. A chilling reminder that the night's horrors were far from over. The highway stretched onwards, silent and empty. But beneath the surface a darkness lingered, a hunger waiting to be sated. The wind whispered through the wreckage, carrying with it a chilling message. The woman, her thirst momentarily quenched, was gone, but not for long. She walked the earth now, a creature of shadow and blood. The highway, her hunting ground. Her victims, unsuspecting travellers, lured in by her beauty, trapped by her need. The whispers spoke of other encounters, other disappearances. Truck drivers vanished without a trace. Families, their cars found abandoned, their fates unknown. The highway had always been a place of danger, a ribbon of asphalt connecting the known to the unknown. But now it was something more. It was a blood highway, a testament to an ancient evil that refused to die. The highway, they said, was never the same. It held a darkness now, a palpable sense of dread that clung to every mile marker, every bend in the road. Drivers passing through late at night spoke of cold spots, of feeling uneasy, of seeing things in their rearview mirrors that couldn't possibly be real. But the road, it called to them, whispered promises of adventure, of escape, of the open road. The woman in black, she was a part of the highway now. A phantom, a legend, a whispered warning passed from driver to driver. Beware, the highway seemed to say. Beware the night, beware the shadows, beware the woman with eyes of fire. The night swallowed the highway, cloaking it in darkness. The road stretched endlessly, a ribbon of black cutting through the unknown. The moon, hidden behind a veil of clouds, offered no comfort. Its light, usually a beacon, was now a mere memory lost in the oppressive gloom. The wind howled, a mournful sound that echoed the fear in the hearts of those who dared to travel the blood highway. It whispered secrets of the past, tales of those who never made it to their destination. Somewhere out there in the darkness, a pair of crimson eyes flickered. They watched, unblinking, waiting for the next soul to wander into their domain. A smile, cold and predatory, stretched across pale lips. The hunt was on. The predator relished the chase, the thrill of the hunt and the inevitable capture. The highway, it seemed, would never be satiated. It demanded more, always more, feeding on the fear and despair of those who travelled its path. Its hunger, like the creature that haunted it, was insatiable. No matter how many souls it claimed, it always craved another. And so the story continues, a chilling reminder that some roads are best left untravelled, some stories best left untold. The Blood Highway is a place of nightmares, where the line between reality and horror blurs, because on the Blood Highway the only certainty is fear. Every shadow hides a threat, every sound a warning. The fear is palpable, a constant companion on this treacherous journey, and the only rule, never drive alone. For in the solitude of the night, the highway's true horrors come to life, and no one is safe.